How's everybody doing today?
Yeah,
Good. How
good,
are you?
thanks.
I'm doing great, thanks. Okay, so I am just gonna get us going. I apologize to Archie. This first question is for Jessie and Ben. I love some good magical lore, and one of the things that struck me about Shadow and Bone was the way that they cast spells. It reminded me a little bit of Doctor Strange with Benedict Cumberbatch, who had like a choreographer to learn that the hand motion. So I was wondering, how did you nail that sort of look and feel for the magic and the spell casting in the series?
Ben, do you want to take this one?
No, but you were going to say about Doctor
I was
Strange.
going to say, oh, yeah, Danny did Doctor Strange, didn't he?
Do you go? Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, this is your question, but I was just making sure that we were on the same page.
Yeah, so we had some of our stunt team worked on Doctor Strange, and JJ Perry, who came up with the hand motions for Doctor Strange, also worked on this show. So that's a nice, interesting analysis from you. Yeah, I mean, it was so much fun doing the hand movements, especially for me, because they came up with lots of intricate things for each different Grisha to do. But when it came to Alina, because she's new to using her powers, they would give me an idea of what kind of shapes to make, but then essentially say just do what feels right, what Alina would do, because she's kind of making it up as she goes along. And so that was really fun, to be able to work with them and also just go with it. But I think Ben's experience is slightly different as well.
Yeah, I think mine was actually from the opposite angle, which is they came up with a lot of incredibly intricate, amazing hand movements, especially for the heart renders and everything. It's amazing to watch, and there's an amazing moment where there's a sort of standoff between one team with guns like this and a set of heart who are doing their movement ready to pounce. Yeah, I think for me, obviously being the most powerful experience sort of Grisha in the universe, I had the opposite issue from Jessie, which was actually it felt a bit too complicated. I wanted to be something that was a bit easier and more simple for him. So we kind of came up with the idea of playing off the eclipse being his symbol. That's on all his flags and on his buckles and his costume. So we this idea that his hands would kind of come together and make an eclipse like that, and from there he'd be able to do cast any kind of small science spell that he wanted to summon in the darkness. So it was that was the kind of process for me, working with the stunt team in the gym and trying to come up with stuff that made sense for each moment.
I'm glad I asked, because that is a very fascinating insight. Now I'm going to have a question for all three of you, so maybe Archie, you can start. But I'm wondering if there was anything about your journey of bringing these characters from page to screen that like shocked or surprised you. Just maybe it could be something about the process, a direction they went with the character. Just tell me a little bit about something that stuck with you.
I think for me personally, it was nice that we got to see Mal's journey. Because certainly when in the book, when Alina gets taken away to the little palace, we see in the letters and stuff, but now we get to see some of the relationships that he has. He has like these two really good friends, Mikhail and Dubrov, in the series, that are in his tracking unit, and we see the whole process of how he's trying to get to Alina, and that desperation and sadness and well, he's scared a lot of the time and worried. Which hopefully the fans will be able to connect with and empathize with him, which would be great.
Jessie, you want to go next?
Yeah, I think Alina in the books, she's so witty and quick, and she's sarcastic, and she's got such a fiery personality. But because we're in her head in the books, we hear all of her thoughts and we understand her opinions. So translating that from the books to the screen was I thought would be quite challenging, because she goes through so much horrible, traumatic stuff. And there's like a fine line between having her have a sense of humor about what's happening to her in the world and rolling her eyes at stuff, and then her kind of not taking it seriously. So that was quite a challenge, to be able to take this like very funny character from these books and still give her that sense of humor without making it seem like she's not feeling the things she's feeling at the same time. So that was quite challenging, and I hope we managed to get a nice balance there.
And Ben, if you'd wrap it up, please.
Yeah, so again, it's sort of similar to Archie. Obviously, the book's a first-person perspective from Alina's point of view. So we see, the Darkling as how he comes across to Alina, and what he represents to her, but trying to bring some humanity to him and make him a real person and understand his motivations and his struggles, and then to dive into some of the themes that erupt from that in terms of the the manipulation and whether we can condone any of his actions given his plight and given his sort of status and power. So investigating that in the relationship with Alina particularly, and making sure that her warmth affects him, making sure that he sees her as a person who maybe could have the capacity to teach him to open up again and learn to love and be a human being again in the future. That's the kernel of light that you see within his sort of shadowy darkness.
All right, and it looks like that's all I have time for today.
Oh.
Thank you guys so much.